Welcome to Three Geeks. Welcome to the Three Geeks podcast. My name is Jason, joined as always by Max, Dan, and Mike. You can check out Mike at youtube.com/Mike McGTV.
Oh, what did you do?
Whoops. And today we have a special guest, a friend of mine who I've been trying to get on here for a little while. His name is Jason. He is the founder of NeverEndingRadicalDude.com. You can also follow Jason on Twitter at NerdPoop.
That's right. Everything else was taken.
And he's a great boss. He's a great boss.
Oh, yeah.
Collaborator.
Yeah, I've mentioned Jason on this cast before when we were talking about things that got us to kind of do this on the internet, and Jason, like Mike, is one of those inspirations for me personally. If you're watching us live, send in any questions, comments on Twitter at 3geekspodcast. You can also call in. I can't promise it's going to work the first time, so try back. But it is 814-313-GEEK. So, so let's get back to Jason for a minute.
Yeah.
So you started off doing comedy videos on YouTube, right?
Yeah, under the Wrinkled Meat moniker.
Yes. What made you switch over to geek?
I think like you guys, you're just born a geek. It's kind of in your blood. It's what you like to do the most. And I just wanted to find a way to get my passions all in one spot. I like comedy, I like writing, and I like art a lot. So that's why we added the art element. All our reviews and features have art attached to them, and I like to promote artists and kind of get their work out there, especially like geeky, nerdy art. Like, kind of think of Wizard Magazine or Nintendo Power. You'd see like those sections where people have art. I always loved that stuff and thought it was so cool. So I kind of just wanted to mesh everything into one. We're working on the podcast and the videos to get more comedy on there, but we'll get there. We're just kind of trying to get comedy writing and art to kind of coexist in one space.
That's cool. Yeah, if you follow us on Twitter, you'll see that we share quite a bit of links from his website, so definitely check it out. But Mike said something interesting about the way you guys do reviews, that you guys try to look for more of the positive than the negative when watching a movie.
Yeah. I like to challenge people a little bit. It's super easy to just kind of piss and moan about stuff. We all do it. It's really, but at the same time, we all love this stuff still. We keep watching it. We endure and get through shows that we might not like because, the inner nerd in us is just, kind of hungry for it. So I think if we're going to be watching it anyway, we may as well be a little bit more positive about it. Not saying I'm not going to land to something that's horrible every once in a while. If it's shamelessly bad, it's nailed. But at least finding a positive spin on it, and then coming up with alternatives instead of just saying it sucks. Well, what would you do differently? How would you have written it? How would you have acted in it? Just giving a different spin on it. It's just oversaturated with negativity out there. So I want to kind of help at least put a bucket in, or like a drop in the bucket, and have some positivity out there.
Awesome.
Jason, I was actually curious with regards to the art side of things, because you have hosted or taken part in events such as the Quick Draw SF. What do those events entail?
Yeah, so we partnered.
Those are very heavily promoted on the site.
Yeah, we partnered with a local art collective called Paint Pens Collective, run by my friend Shayna, and we decided to do a monthly event brought to you by our website, Never Ending Radical Dude, and her art collective called Paint Pens Collective, and it's basically a monthly event where artists or anybody can just come out to this space that we have. It's a bar called F8 in San Francisco here, and we have 10 featured artists come and draw, and we have themes. So we had like a sci-fi theme recently, so they'll come and draw like Star Wars characters or anything sci-fi that they like. And there'll be drink specials, there'll be merch for sale, the artists will sell their art for pretty cheap, and anybody can come and draw. So if you're not that big of an artist or you want to just kind of get networking, you can just draw. And then we have this huge wall where, featured artist or not, you can post your art and sell it for whatever you want, and just say $5, $10, a beer, anything. Some people sell it for more if they're like high-profile artists, but it's just kind of a cool sharing space. It's something we can do live. And we also run art shows. So like every year I do one at a place called Mini Bar featuring artists from the website. And then sometimes our collaborator and friends at Mission Comics and Art let us have art shows over there too.
Yeah, I remember someone, I sent you a couple of pieces that one time, and someone actually bought my Batman piece, which I was like,
That's right.
oh, wow, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Surprising.
not a lot of people sold stuff that show too, but they bought yours. That was awesome. Yeah, we showed that at the comic shop here in San Francisco. It's called Mission Comics and Art, and my friend Leaf runs the shop, so he really helps, and it's where we shoot all our bigger videos, like Nerds of the Round, like that.
Yeah, which video was that? When I think you got a brand new copy of the new Zelda game, and you went to the room, and then your buddy came out, and it was in the cardboard. He just tears the cardboard open and just like crinkles it all up. That was funny. That was really funny.
Yeah, that was at his old location, but the same shop, Mission Comics. He recently moved a few blocks down, but yeah, he's nice enough to let us shoot stuff. So we like infinite nerdy background wherever we shoot, every angle. Yeah,
nice.
Cool. Yeah, we'll be doing more like videos and podcasts probably in June. My schedule is going to open up, and I'm going to kind of get a lot of new projects, new design for the site, and some new multimedia stuff, like I said, videos and podcasts. So there'll be a lot to look forward to coming up in the next few months.
Nice. All right, well, thank you. You can check out the links to all of Jason's stuff is in the description of this video, so definitely check that out. Mike does a lot of writing also on Never Ending Radical Dude, so you can see a bunch of cool collabos from the two of them. And I forgot to mention this at the top of the podcast. We have a sponsor. 3 Geeks finally has a sponsor. We're super excited about it. And today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/3geeks. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. So definitely check that out and help support us. Good times. Let's get into the news. Jason's going to stick around and discuss some nerd topics, and we're going to have some fun. The big story this week was Indiana Jones 5 is confirmed. It is going to be directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Harrison Ford, and I am excited about this. I am super excited about this. I wasn't a big fan of the fourth movie that Max pretends never happened.
They made a fourth Indiana Jones movie? How are they making a fifth Indiana Jones movie?
But I am, we're coming off of Star Wars Episode 7, which was amazing, and Harrison Ford seems to be doing this kind of like farewell tour where he's going back to Star Wars, he's going back to Blade Runner, he's going back to Indiana Jones. I don't mean farewell like that, Mike. I mean farewell like...
It's kind of morbid.
I don't like the sound of it. Done filming freaking Blade Runner, it's over.
A pre-retirement, like he's finally like embracing the fans of the genre. Like,
well, I mean, do you think he's gonna go back and touch up on Air Force One? I think that would be the cherry.
Air Force One.
No,
2.
Yeah.
But yeah, to see Indiana Jones back, I don't know exactly how they're going to do this because he is going to be 78, I think the report said, by the time this movie is done filming.
Right.
So obviously I'm wondering if they're going to use this as a way to kind of introduce the new Indiana Jones and kind of do like they did in Last Crusade, where there was kind of a younger indie story to kind of push forward a new.
Here's how it's gonna work. Indiana Jones goes back to the chalice, drinks the elixir of life or whatever, he turns right into Chris Pratt, like immediately. And then from there, they go follow Chris Pratt through his life, where they come to modern day, where he looks like Harrison Ford again.
So he's like the Doctor in that he'll have a regeneration?
Well, yeah. Yeah, totally. And then at the end of this movie, he drinks the elixir again and becomes Chris Pratt.
Interesting. I think they're going to give him the Viking's death at the end with the boat with the fire, but it's going to be live.
With a bunch of like evil pygmies like surrounding it.
Yeah, just do it right. If it's a farewell tour, this could be a good ending, like little book. Like that'd be big. That'd be big news.
As long as he makes. I want my sequel to Regarding Henry.
Oh yeah. Jeez. Regarding Henry. I'd watch that.
Right? Him and JJ could reunite. JJ wrote that one, too.
Yeah, that's true.
But, Jason, how do you feel about a new Indiana Jones film?
I'm down for it. You know, I don't pretend 4 didn't exist. I remember watching it and being a little underwhelmed because it's one of those franchises where your expectations they're not through the roof or low, they're just completely ridiculous no matter what way you think about it. How do you follow up those movies? I mean, those are like such iconic movies. What can you do to please fans, honestly? I mean, I can think of a few things that I would like to see, but realistically it's really hard to work that way to please everybody. And I revisited for like a couple years later on DVD, and I actually just watched it by myself and didn't want anyone around, and I actually really enjoyed it. I had a lot of. It's super campy, it's super corny, it's really fun, almost cartoony. What's that?
They nuked the fridge, man.
Which is a pretty sweet reference to have in our pulp culture. I think silver lining is we can say nuked the fridge.
But I mean, it's still not a good thing. You know?
I mean, rewatch any of the movies. There's all kinds of batshit crazy stuff going on in all those movies. I think that's just another one to add to it. It's completely ridiculous. There's no argument there. But I think it's just, if you approach it as something campy and fun and not to take itself too seriously, it's a pretty good ride. It's just not quite the ode I think people wanted to the hero. My biggest complaint was really just probably Shia LaBeouf being in there. It could have been anybody. It's just the character itself. Mutt just wasn't an interesting character to me. So
you mean Tarzan?
I don't know. And there's things to nitpick for sure, but I'm down. And it's Spielberg. It's like Star Wars. You know, it's the prequels everyone hates on, but it's Lucas's baby, so he can really do whatever he wants. And I feel the same about this. Spielberg can do whatever he wants. People are gonna hate it when it is. So. I don't know. We just have to. We're all going to pay for it, and that's all they care about. So they win.
Mike, how about you?
Honestly, if Star Wars: The Force Awakens hadn't happened, I would have seen Harrison Ford coming back for a 5th indie movie to be like, I don't know, because they played up in the 4th one. There were aspects of the 4th one I enjoyed a little bit, but I felt they were playing up a lot like, he's a geezer. But after Force Awakens, though, yeah, he's a geezer, but he's still a geezer that kicks ass. So
now, to be fair, he did kick a lot of butt in the 4th indie movie. That scene where he's standing and he's like Shia LaBeouf singing, he's like, "You're a teacher," and he's like, "Part-time," and he's just like shot. I'm like, oh man, that's perfect. That's perfect Indiana Jones to me.
Honestly, yeah, like his moments of action in the movie actually worked far better than other moments, as Max was referencing the Shia LaBeouf ape vine swinging thing.
Ape Escape.
Yeah. Ape Escape, yeah. So, you know what? I could see him coming back for a 5th one if he's still up for it. Sure, why not? It's his and Spielberg's baby for right now, and I'm sure they'll find a way to be able to continue the franchise after his, as Jason put it, farewell tour, which is pretty morbid.
Well, and they
as
might
long
be
as
wanting to pass the torch on more. They might be, you know, because the consensus is 4 was pretty rough. Most people didn't enjoy it. So I think if they're aware of that, they could maybe try and right some of those wrongs and have a better send-off for the character. Now that he's going to be like 113 years old, I think they can be like, all right, now this is our last chance. He's not doing this again. So I have hopes.
What they should do is pass it off to another character who just happens to have a state for his first name and a common name for a last name, like Idaho Smith or something.
Or Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado Bones. Who knows? That sounds like a porn star.
If Harrison Ford had trouble getting through doors on the sets of Star Wars, without getting his foot broken, what is he going to do when they roll giant boulders at him?
That boulder's going to win this time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know,
one thing, it's going to be crazy because in Indiana Jones 4, you guys ever notice John Hurt's character was just this like old ass like crazy person? I think he was put there to like. They're like, all right, make sure he's in the shot with Harrison Ford as much as possible to make him look younger.
By comparison.
By comparison. So they're going to need probably like the Crypt Keeper or something this time.
Yoda. They're going to get Yoda in the Indiana Jones movie.
I think you just gave away the plot for the 5th indie movie, though, Max, is that the Boulder's been waiting 30, 40 some years. Just sitting, watching TV, it's got a wife beater on, a little cigarette pasted onto it, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what? That guy's still around. I gotta get back in the game. So he starts, like, training, Creed
The
style.
fucking Rocky music starts.
Yeah.
That rock's a little bit bigger, looks behind its shoulders before finishing a Ben & Jerry's. Looking.
It's like the Indiana Jones version of Creed. Just call it Boulder.
Yeah. The hero could be Colorado. Boulder in Colorado. That'd be sweet. Get that name back in good light.
Oh, yeah. And there we go. We're taking it back.
Dan, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go see it. I went to go see 4 and wasted my money on that one.
Wait, they made a 4th one?
Yes, Max. They made it, but it was animated and you wouldn't like it.
Oh, okay. But I like animation.
But, I mean, hopefully they learned what not to do with 4 and they give me a film I like. That's all I want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's that?
Yeah. I just say I hope they don't do what they did with Force Awakens, though, and just kind of remake the movie with a different skin. You know, I hope that they can make something a little more original and potentially work as a path torch to somebody else.
Well,
Yeah,
if they're going like by chronology and so forth, this adventure would possibly be taking place in the 60s then, if they were just to go with Harrison Ford, because the last one was in 50s.
Yes.
Yeah, because they were fighting Russians, so it'd be in the 60s now. Yeah.
Motorcycles and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm sure we'll all see it one way or another.
I'm definitely going. I've been waiting for this 4th Indiana Jones movie for forever.
Yeah.
There, like Jason said, there are parts of 4 that are redeemable, and I've heard, and there's lots of rumors circulating this story now, and like they're saying that one of the ways they got Harrison Ford to sign on was that they agreed Mutt would not appear in the 5th Indiana Jones film. So I wonder how they're going to write that off, but that should be fun.
That's all misdirection, dude. That what the scene is going to be, Indy is like crossing this temple bridge, and there's Mutt on the other side, all evil looking, and runs them through.
I think Mutt should die in a nuclear explosion, and then Harrison Ford said, "Should have got in the fridge."
No, because he will get in the fridge, but it's like, it's not made out of lead like the old fridges were, and it's like, they don't make them like they used to.
That would be funny.
That's what you get for choosing Maytag.
As the fridge is on fire and he's screaming and you just like keep doing one-liners over it.
I mean, he shoots him first. I mean, he's got that's an Indiana Jones thing. It just plow shoots him, then fucking
Yep. Indy shot first. That'll be the new one.
That's funny. I don't even know where to go from here. Let's get Max pissed off for a little while. So Gotham was renewed for a 3rd season. Apparently people really like this show. Max is not one of them. So Max, what are your thoughts on Gotham coming back?
I don't know, man. Gotham coming back makes you think that Trump is going to be president.
Good, get us more hate.
Ay.
That's just like the dumbest thing I heard all week. That show's terrible. I don't understand how it's still on.
Do you watch every episode?
No, I watched the first season all the way through, and then I declared that I would never watch another episode. And I've heard reports on the episodes since then that have all been bad. So I just I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't
with you on that one. I don't get that show. I never liked that show. I got through about 3 or 4 episodes, and then I couldn't wash it out of my face. It was just was so bad. I had to get out. And I love Batman. Don't get me wrong. And I love DC on TV. I'm like huge on Arrow, huge on The Flash, and I even watch Legends of Tomorrow. But I could not do Gotham. So I really, all it means is I'm just going to be shaking my head longer, another year. Just going, why? Why is it still happening?
Yep.
I don't get it. Fox, they always have to put some spin on the cop shows. So what they decide to do is they decide to take Batman and turn it into a weekly cop show, and do a cop show. That's fine. Cop shows are whatever. They're fine. But when you throw the Batman mythos into it and try to sustain a show for 2 seasons, constantly bringing in villains that are going to be like 50 by the time Bruce Wayne is old enough to be Batman, it does not make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I don't get it. That's Max. We've gone 3 weeks without mentioning Trump. Jesus.
Oh yeah, no, we're due, man. People might be forgetting that we're worse than communists.
Yep.
You just need to pretend that Trump is Indiana Jones 4. He doesn't exist.
Well, you see, the thing is, though, like, it was really hard to pretend Indiana 4 didn't exist when it was, like, showing, because all I hear every day is about how Indiana Jones 4 came out. So, in the same way, it's really hard to pretend Trump doesn't exist, when every day I'm reminded that he does.
All you have to do is lose all of your natural-born senses, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore.
So, the Helen Keller method, I got you.
Yes. Completely turn everything off, no electronics, stay off the street.
Every time our podcast mentions Trump, we get double the views. So thank you, Max. Going on to our worse than communist friend, Mike. What are your thoughts on Gotham season 3?
Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm gonna have to review season 2 for Never Ending Radical Dude at some point. I have to. I mean, I've got to.
Contractual.
I have to catch up. I'm guessing the review is gonna be something like, Jim Gordon says this is wrong to do and gets punished for an episode, and then he's back on the force, and then a villain shows up way too early.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not. I was one of those people who I'm like, you know what? It's not my thing, really, but I can see what can be appealing about it to certain people. And I stuck with the second season for about 4 episodes, like Jason was saying, and then I really just kind of lost interest. And for the sake of, being objective and writing about it, I'll catch up on it when it's finally done for the season, but I'm not really looking forward to it. But a job's a job, and if that's what some people like, that's what some people like. Thank goodness we have stuff like you mentioned, like Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, stuff like that can be more engaging for our tastes than
Mike, I feel like
Batman.
Your local liquor agency is about to put their kids through college because you have to watch the second season of Gotham.
Yeah, you never know. And on the topic of the Trump thing, I highly encourage you all to look for that. Someone posted on Facebook earlier. It was like this mix of Donald Trump, Immortan Joe cosplay. You should check it out. It was pretty good.
That's good. I just don't want to watch a show that has anything to do with this. I just that's stupid. That's not the Penguin at all. I think everyone keeps talking about how good he is and stuff. I'm sure he's a fine actor, a fine gentleman, but I couldn't, he was killing a homeless person that was eating for his sandwich or something. And I'm just like, that's stupid. This is like American Psycho. This is not the Penguin.
Well, he gets into stress eating, and then he becomes pudgy, and that's how he becomes more like the Penguin we kind of know.
Who could you say that?
Yes, who knows? He is a little too.
Audible.com.
Audible.
Please go to audible.com. What's the thing?
Congratulations on your first and last sponsor.
No, it's okay. Jason messed it up worse than me already.
No, my reader is pretty good.
Yeah, no, your read was very good, except it was 4 minutes later than it should have been.
It's fine. They don't care as long as we say it. It benefits us. I mean,
anyway,
just as much.
You got to give them the thing now. What is the thing?
Oh, I got to do it again?
What's
It's supposed to be in the middle of the show.
All right. Podcast. You, the listeners of 3 Geeks Podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. Personally recommend an audiobook. See, no, where's the...
That's it.
Are you seriously doing this now?
Why not? It's funny.
I want to talk about Gotham.
No, I'm trying to find the URL, and I was reading the wrong thing.
Oh, all right, Dan, Gotham, Season 3.
Okay, Jason, not Fury, or Jason,
Yes.
you're wrong. Because it's not that they tried to do a cop show and it screwed up. The problem is that the writers are idiots. And Mike, with your little doodad there about the stress eating and everything, that is a more coherent script than you get for any episode of Gotham. And yeah, I'm not watching season 3. That's it.
Is anybody gonna watch it besides Mike? Because he has
Apparently
to,
somebody, because it keeps telling me that critics love this shit.
No, I think the critics have fallen off. The people like the show,
Yeah,
but people like
the
Transformers
people are the
too.
problem.
Transformers.
Okay, what did we do there? We botched a commercial.
yeah,
we
we definitely
mentioned
botched
Trump
it.
like 37 times, so that's good. That's good for views.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Anyway, let's get into a quick non-spoiler discussion of Daredevil. It is
Spoiler.
good.
Gee.
It is.
yeah, I'm only on. I watched the first episode, so I can only talk as far as the first episode goes.
That's enough.
Loved it.
We're just going to talk very, roundabout. John Barenthal as the Punisher is perfect casting. He is so good.
Yeah.
Can
I
everybody go like this when you're done talking about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah, John Barenthal, Punisher, is the best. That's probably I want to say my favorite iteration of the Punisher on screen or film or whatever. It's he knocked it out of the park. They had the tone right. We didn't get his famous line or any head rubs, but it was still good. I thought John Barenthal was kind of small to play the Punisher, but I don't know if it was camera tricks or if he's actually just that large of a person. They did a really good job. Like, he looks pretty freaking huge.
His head is gigantic.
He's got the nifty nose going on too. It's kind of cool.
But he nails, just like kills the role and does a good job. I liked Elektra. I thought she was good. Yeah, it's just it's really good. It's all good things in that show. Without getting too much into spoilers, definitely give it a watch if you haven't watched it already. I made it through the whole thing. I get to watch it again when me and Mike do the commentary, so I'm super excited about that because I'm probably going to watch it like 4 or 5 more times.
Yeah, it's like John Barenthal's, turn as the Punisher. It's like he leapt right off the comic books. There's stuff in this show, like, no spoilers, where you feel for him. He really emotionally pulls you in, and for that kind of character and the stuff that at the beginning, it's really well done. It's very well done, and his performance alone is worth watching this show. I mean, and then you've got other amazing performances from Charlie Cox as Daredevil, and sorry I don't know her name, but Elektra. Jennifer Gardner, she was amazing. And then there's some awesome other stuff that I'm not going to mention now. We will be doing a spoiler review. It'll be probably in the next couple days, so look for that. But Mike, quick non-spoiler.
Sure. I agree with everything you said. It's like, yeah, Bernthal really sells the Punisher well, because this is a character that, honestly, I've never really cared too much about. Even though he does have a tragic backstory, I just couldn't get into his motivations and the execution of his actions. But Bernthal really sells the humanity of the character very well, how damaged the character is. And it is very captivating to watch him be both menacing and, like you said, at times be a little bit quieter. Elodie Young as Elektra, I'm so glad she had this, because just a couple of weeks ago she was in Gods of Egypt. So good on you, Elodie. You're in something good. How is it that she and Charlie Cox have way better chemistry than the actual husband and wife team that played Daredevil and Elektra? It's like, yeah, they have great chemistry together, and you really get a sense of their relationship as the series progresses, and it makes her very likable, you know, and when you find out things about her. Foggy, again, one of my favorites from the series, really ups his game this season.
Best brother.
Still no hockey stick and Mighty Ducks reference to Max's dismay. But he really ups his game, and you know, without giving too much away, like it was one thing that I'm glad was explored a little bit more this season than in the previous season was the actual like day job of Daredevil a little bit. Like Netflix has a knack for having some very intense trial sequences. Let's say that. From making a murderer to this. So there are many surprises, many twists abound, and I'll say it's pretty much at an even keel with the first season because it tackles things that are a lot different from the first season. The action is much more dynamic and amped up for good reason, but it is still spellbinding to watch. And yeah, bring on a season 3 and bring on the rest of the Heroes for Hire or Defenders.
Mr. Dan?
Yeah. I really like Daredevil season 2. And I mean, I'm biased because the Punisher was one of my favorite comic book guys ever. So when you're watching Daredevil season 2, it's, I mean, at the same level as season 1, except when the Punisher's on screen, and then it goes much higher. And that's like the worst thing I can say about it, which is nothing bad at all. So go watch it.
Yeah, you know, anytime a show you hear about them losing their showrunner after the first season, you kind of get a little scared because they're losing the guy that made the show so successful. With Daredevil, they didn't miss a freaking beat switching showrunners. And I mean, anybody else, I'm watching it, you know, and John Barenthal, do you think it's possible he could get an Emmy nomination for his performance in this?
He can get an Emmy, but he can't protect him, Red.
I thought his performance was that strong. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the Emmy Best Supporting Actor category this year.
He can get an Emmy. They won't give it to him because it's a silly comic book show.
I don't know, man. The world's changing.
Dude, they did say shit a lot in this season of Daredevil.
Spoiler alert, Max.
Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry. I ruined it.
They got to save all the Emmys for Gotham.
Shit.
Because all the critics love Gotham.
All right, moving on.
Did Ron Bell, have you watched any Daredevil?
I haven't watched it yet.
He hasn't.
Just ruined it for me.
Oh.
Ah, dude. Well,
Punisher.
it's okay because you ruined my fucking championship dreams this year. So I'm gonna spoil it.
The champ is here.
Dude, I'm gonna watch Batman v Superman. I'm gonna call you up from the theater like this happened, and hang up.
I won't give a damn.
Oh, speaking of Batman v Superman, great segue, Max.
Killed it.
There is an R-rated director's cut of Batman vs Superman hitting Blu-ray once it comes out. I'm really surprised this news is coming out now. But the Blu-ray director's cut will be 30 minutes longer and feature a lot of intense violence. Zack Snyder says no nudity, just extreme violence. It's weird, right, that this is getting announced before the movies even come out, because there's going to be people watching it that are going to be like, I wonder if this is supposed to be longer, I wonder if this is supposed to be longer, I wonder if my Blu-ray copy is going to be better. They don't usually announce stuff like this a week before the film hits.
Most likely it's going to be the Jenna Malone stuff, because she was cut from the theatrical release, so they'll incorporate probably her character back into it and whatever story she had. I'm saying she's Barbara Gordon, but...
I think so, too.
Didn't Zack Snyder say that it wasn't Barbara Gordon?
He said there wasn't a Batgirl in this, or Robin, but it could still be Barbara Gordon, because J.K. Simmons is going to be Commissioner Gordon in Justice League, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, and J.J. Abrams did say that Benedict Cumberbatch was a con, so I don't trust any directors until I see the movie, but... I am excited for Batman vs. Superman, and so far some of the early buzz is positive, and I've been a supporter of Ben Affleck as Batman for a long time. So I can't wait to see this, and I've heard that Jesse Eisenberg is really good in this film too. So it's going to be good, and the fact that we're going to get a 30-minute longer Batman movie, that's great news if the movie's good. It sucks if the movie's bad because then it's just longer. But if it's good, which I can't anticipate it being that bad, so I'm excited for this news, I guess. Jason, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant with Jesse Eisenberg's character. It's a very, very brief time we see in the trailer, so I don't want to judge it completely. But I'm super skeptical because it looks horrible. It does not look like a good version of Lex Luthor. But I'm always open for a new spin on it. So if they have something up their sleeve that we haven't seen before, I think it'll be cool. I'm actually not a fan of Ben Affleck either. I just think he's a block of wood, which might work. But nothing can take away from Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. During the fight scenes or when they're in costume, I think that's going to be spectacular. I think that's going to be awesome. Seeing these heroes on the screen together with super big budget, and I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I love Zack Snyder. I think he's awesome. I think he's a great visionary director. He might have more style over substance sometimes, but that doesn't always bother me. Sometimes I just like the visual aspect of his movies. But I'm a little hesitant with Affleck and the Bruce Wayne scenes, and a little hesitant about what they're doing with Lex Luthor. But overall, obviously I'm excited to see it. It's Batman and Superman pummeling each other. It's going to be cool. At least an hour of that movie is going to be awesome, I think.
Dan?
Yeah, just show me the movie already. I don't know. I have reservations about how they treat Superman. Jesse Eisenberg, I think, would be okay. Maybe he'll get pummeled. That'd be fun.
I have a feeling he will get pummeled.
But yeah, just, show me the movie, and I'll happily pay money to go see it, whether it sucks or not.
Yeah, it'll be an experience. It'll be fun.
Rondell?
Just want to see the movie. I'm not really excited, but I'll go see it. I'm interested in the fight scenes. I want to see the action, costumes, see Wonder Woman. Again, I agree with Jason. I don't care to see Ben Affleck and Bruce Wayne scene. So I just don't trust him as a superhero.
I think you guys are both going to be changing it in a week. We'll find out. But
I hope so. Yeah, I think everybody here can agree they want a great movie. We all want it to be good. I'm not rooting for it to bomb or anything.
Oh no, dude! I totally enjoy trashing things on the internet more than I enjoy enjoying them.
But now I want to go see Block of Wood act. So this will be fun.
No, I think it's weird that they're. I think it's in direct response to Deadpool that they're the 30-minute longer cut on the Blu-ray is rated R. It's so gritty. That is the backlash that we were talking about. Where there's everything's rated R. Look how edgy it is.
It's gonna be random things of violence.
What?
It's gonna be random things of violence that don't feed into the story at all.
Yeah, it's
people
some old
getting
lady getting punched in the middle of the street, no reason. They drop a piano on somebody. It's A Million Ways to Die in the West, except in Gotham.
How violent can a fight be where nobody dies? Are they laying on the ground, punching each other, just side by side?
They're doing the Swayze throat rip, dude. They're going nuts.
Well, what makes it R? It's what's gonna blood splatter, or just are they gonna be saying dirty things while they're fighting, or
they're gonna reveal Bruce Wayne's perspective of the Metropolis fight and why he's probably he's got PTSD or something. They'll just have people wandering around in the dust with no limbs or something.
That'd be cool.
In slow motion, my arm.
Yeah, it'll be very. It'll be straight out Tropic Thunder. You'll see Ben Stiller walk through with his blown off arms.
I do like how they're addressing a lot of people's main complaint with Man of Steel, which is just that complete disregard for human life while he's trying to be a hero and just completely messing everybody up and doing a horrible, horrible job. So I think it's kind of cool seeing that there's going to be a lesson learned and there's going to be some gravity to that completely not Superman-like scene in Superman where he's like learning. Because you got to remember, he's fresh. He's still a new Superman, and we're getting an old Batman juxtaposed with it, which I think is an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. But no, it's so funny because every time DC tries to do something, Marvel just one-ups them. Like DC released that trailer where we all see Doomsday at the end, and so Marvel's response to that is, "All right, we'll show you guys how to end a trailer. Here's Spider-Man," and everybody goes, "Yay!" Or DC announces the release date of Batman v Superman, and Marvel's like, "We're gonna put Captain America 3 on that day. Have fun, DC." And then DC has to move, and then Marvel's like, "We're gonna release Daredevil a week before your movie comes out."
Because like new Cap trailer, Daredevil, and the Luke Cage teaser trailer at the end of that too. That's like all of a week before your movie comes out.
Yeah.
I gotta say, yeah, I just get the movie out. It's the week of. I can't wait. I'm getting out of work early on Friday, so I'm gonna go immediately to the closest theater and just watch and have fun. I gotta say, the advertisement. Not for like the movie itself, but like for products, has been a little weird to see like in like pre-screening stuff or before the movie starts. Usually when I go watch a movie, because it'll show the death and destruction of the Metropolis fight and show Ben Affleck driving around that kicking new Jeep Dawn of Justice edition, and you have someone who sounds like Jeremy Irons narrating like, "You have to be a champion," and everything as like debris is like shattering buildings and killing people, and then like. The new Jeep Legacy Dawn of Justice Edition. I'm like, dude, people are dying. This is no way to promote.
Well, what you don't know is that's part of what they cut out for the rated R cut they're going to put back in later. They're just going to put in a bunch of CGI people flying around.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe in this movie, what makes the rated R cut is you find, like, they show you all the dead people that you didn't see in the last one from the big fight.
Well, they just all like moved to Gotham, and now they're getting.
It just makes me think of like all the insane like product tie-ins you could do for some of these movies. Like, yeah, Superman burns Doomsday or something like that with his heat vision. Come to Outback Steakhouse for.
I'm still keeping my fingers crossed for. Weekend at Bernie's 3 Zod edition. I think they're going to unzip that thing and then go straight to Fridays or something. Remember him?
You just sit him up. I demand ice cream.
Rated R for graphic, morbid scenes with Zod's body.
Who knows, though? The rated R thing, though, who knows? There's a quick scene in that latest trailer of, like, Clark's getting some tub time on with Lois, so maybe they just go into a straight-up, like, sex session.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Because
Zack Snyder films that stuff in slow motion. Remember watching
a lot?
And with some Leonard Cohen playing.
Well, I mean, it was to be fair, in Watchmen, it was like directly from the material.
I don't know if Hallelujah was Alan Moore's original vision for that.
I thought that was a nice touch. I thought it made it real classy.
I did too. The soundtrack for Watchmen, believe it or not, is like one of my favorite soundtracks in a movie. They nailed it. For a movie that's so hard to get a soundtrack to, that was pretty epic. I work with kids, right? And one time when that movie came out, a kid was like, "I saw Watchmen with my dad," and this is like a third grader. I'm like, "You what? You saw the whole thing? Like, did he let you watch it all?" They're like, "Yeah," and then looked at me and went, "Hallelujah!" You gotta stop that right now. Turn around, get away from me. And then he did it for like 2 weeks, just like sneak up behind me and go, "Hallelujah!" I was like,
I like how it just messed you up worse than it messed the kid up.
Horrible. Yeah, I had to get out of there.
It's like, what, you ain't never seen tits before?
Man.
It's bad.
All right, so our topic for tonight is movies that you dislike that other people may, loved or beloved or classics. And then, we're going to extend it too. And not just that, but movies that you may love that most people hate. for me, it's like every Jean-Claude Van Damme movie I love, and most people don't like them. Even the straight-to-DVD ones, I can't get enough. I watch them all every day. It's fantastic. It's good times. Universal Soldier 4, yep, put it in. I'll watch it. It's a good time. But,
Terrible.
Jason, I'm going to let you go first on this one. What are yours?
Well, it's so hard. It's like hard to gauge like guilty pleasure versus like really bad. Like I don't know. I kind of thought of it more from the second part. Movies that I really liked that other people didn't like. I'll start with the one I get the most is Hancock. Will Smith's Hancock. I love that movie. It's like one of my favorite movies ever.
Like
but
the
I
first
get
half and the second half.
See, that's what everybody says. I've been through that a million times. All of it, the whole thing. I love everything about that movie. But it's tough because people definitely don't like it for some reason. And then I'd say anything Zack Snyder, mainly Sucker Punch. Just going back to the whole visual versus like style. I get there's a bunch of like really poorly written things in it, but from a visual experience, I think it's completely insane. It's something that we don't get a lot of in movies anymore, just like a pure blast of creativity, whether it's your style or not. I think it's just it's a work of art. And then, what else? Prometheus. Holy crap. I was so confused when Prometheus came out, because to me that was like the coolest sci-fi movie like I've seen in 10 years. I thought it was amazing. And the consensus was just everyone hated it so much. I was so confused. Very confusing. And then my guilty pleasure, my number one, 2012.
What?
I'm really guilty about it. I feel horrible, but I love that movie.
How?
I don't know. I think it's a test.
What is it about that movie that you love?
It's just complete and utter destruction constantly, and there's the biggest level of destruction I've ever seen. Like the scale of the destruction in that movie is insane, and they get really detailed with it, especially on like Blu-ray and stuff. There's some crazy stuff going on in the backgrounds of that movie while I watch it in like slow motion, and there's just people talk about a rated R cut. Good God, if you zoomed in on like little streets and stuff, it's a horrible, horrible movie. I'm not gonna argue that it's a good movie. It's a guilty pleasure. I feel horrible. Everyone needs to go away when I watch it.
It's all about the Cusack, man.
It's true. Yeah, and the actors. It's just completely ridiculous. It's horrible. It's completely ridiculous. But I love it.
I like Hancock too. You're not alone. And Philip, who's normally on the podcast, he loves Prometheus as well.
First half and the second half.
I like the movie too. I've only seen it a couple times, but I enjoyed it every time I watched it. I guess one for me.
It's called a twist. It's called a movie twist. There's a first half and a second half because the twist had so much gravity to it that it affected the narrative. I think that's cool.
Well, one movie that I loved and everybody hated, and like Jason said, I didn't get it because I thought Josh Brolin was brilliant in the movie, was Men in Black 3. I love Men in Black 3. It is way better than the second one.
Oh, yeah.
I freaking loved it. I thought it was really good. When I left the theater, I was surprised when I found out how much people hate that movie. But I had a really good time with it. Trying to think of like a really bad film that I like. The Sharknado movies are guilty pleasures.
Well, those are bad on purpose.
Yeah.
Like snakes on a plane mentality.
Ugh.
So
Max,
bad.
what are movies that you love that people hate, or
Movies that I love that people hate.
Does not compute for Max.
No, he has some. He does have some.
There's some I love The Big Hit. I think we talked about this before. With Mark Wahlberg, The Big Hit. It's a pretty stupid movie, but I can't get enough of that movie. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
What about movies that people don't like though? Because there's no Big Hit haters out there.
Yeah, I'm not.
Man, fuck The Big Hit, man.
Yeah.
It's like Max saying, I like Pulp Fiction.
I did get Pulp Fiction.
You don't want us to have an ammo to get back at you later.
I'm trying to think of a movie that was just blatantly bad that I liked for no reason. No.
Gotta be
There's
something.
some. I know there's some. He used to have some in his collection. I can't think of it though.
I'm gonna have to say maybe the Mighty Ducks, given how much you really want a hockey stick to show
Okay,
up.
no, I will claim that because I to this day love the Mighty Ducks movies. I'll watch those all
That's a
day.
generally loved movie.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's my childhood, so I mean, that's not.
What about
Yeah.
D2, the Mighty
D2 is my favorite one.
Yeah, dude, my favorite one too.
D2 is the best one.
D3?
Oh, D3 is so crappy. But what's going on?
What the hell?
What happened?
Somebody's calling us. Oh my god, we have a phone call.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
It's audible. It's
Keep talking, Max.
All right. Well, keep talking. Movies that I hated that people generally liked. X-Men. I'm like, am I talking over this thing?
Oh.
Oh, there it went. X-Men, the new X-Men movies. I can't stand them, and everyone seems to love those movies, and they're just doing better and better, and I don't get it. But
Have at it, Fury. Have at it.
I'm fine, whatever.
X-Men: Age of Apocalypse.
I mean, I like my favorite X-Men movie is the very first one.
Nobody will ever be on your side. Right?
That's true. I mean, like, but I feel like the X-Men movies have been like a strike after. Like X2, I thought was okay, but other than that, it just seemed. Here we go again.
They want to give their opinion.
You want to get that?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I don't know why it's coming through the speaker.
We actually don't know how anything works, Jason. So yeah.
We're feeling it out as we go along.
It's in classic Three Geeks fashion. Nothing actually works. But yeah, no, yeah. I'm sorry for the lame answer. Like, I just can't think of anything that's like outrageous that I enjoy. I mean, I watch a lot of bad anime. That's the.
Dan?
Things that I enjoy that nobody else does. If you listen to Max, like pretty much everything I watch.
Yeah, Dan has probably got the worst taste on the planet.
I can't think of anything like off the top of my head, but there's a lot. I don't know. What do I try to make you watch, Max?
Are you trying to get me to watch stuff?
Oh yeah. Broaden your horizons, son.
Oh my goodness.
Although I can tell you some things I don't like that everybody likes. Batman Begins.
Interesting.
The movie, I mean, the script is okay and the acting's okay, but whoever did the cinematography on that, I want to punch. Because every fight scene is like a close-up.
Chris Nolan is notoriously horrible at filming.
I hate it because, I mean, you see Batman's, fist hit some dude, and then you see like a slightly wider shot of that, and then some guy goes flying off that way, and Batman just stands there like, ha! But you never actually see Batman hit anybody.
Just the way the villains like it.
Yeah, I just hate that.
He works from the shadows.
Yeah, you don't,
I can see that. It's valid.
if a ninja is doing his job right, you never see the strike, man.
And it
Well, yeah,
saves on budget, too.
But you can still get
Yeah.
a wide shot of something happening.
Nah, man. That's not how ninjas work.
And if you want to go into classic movies, I've always hated Raging Bull.
I can't get through that movie.
I don't know why I'm supposed to feel sorry for this guy. He's like, I could have been a contender at the end, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but you screwed it all up, dude.
All right, Dan, you went there. I'll give you one that you shouldn't admit because people will totally rip on you for it.
Oh,
The
go for it.
Godfather. I think it's boring.
Oh.
I'm with you.
I've watched it numerous times. I can't do it. I think it's boring. I'm
I love
sorry.
Godfather.
I've never seen any of those movies all the way through. I've
Um,
actually only seen part of the first one.
Mike?
Yeah, cut you off.
Oh.
Starting with movies I enjoy that no one else particularly would.
Sure.
Anything you want.
All right. Well, because the thing is like I like a lot of crappy stuff too, but for the reason because it's crappy. Like that's why I find enjoyment in it.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy The Room, but you're supposed to enjoy The Room for many different reasons, not because it's a good movie, but because it's a train wreck, and train wrecks are fun to watch. But I was going through here thinking, okay, what are some things that I enjoy that some people might not? I like Alien Resurrection.
That's a pretty shitty movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I know it's a pretty bad, but you know what? I loves me some Ron Perlman, so
He's good in that, yeah.
he's very good in that, and it is a precursor to some Firefly stuff. I mean, it's got the band of space pirates there. It's got the ship that looks very Firefly-like, and Ripley comes back and she's kind of stone cold badass, so I can appreciate that. To kind of go along with the Roland Emmerich theme, Stargate is a guilty pleasure of mine.
Oh yeah.
Primarily
Almost all
that
Roland
movie.
Emmerich movies. Yeah, Roland Emmerich's like the king of like I enjoy it, but I don't know why. Like Independence Day and 2012 and Stargate. It's just like they're just it's pure entertainment and there's no other goal. You're not supposed to leave with anything but the thought of like, hey, that was pretty cool.
I mean,
Well,
it's primarily for the Spader. It's primarily for Spader that I like that movie. Talking about the Godfather stuff, Godfather 3, aside from Sofia Coppola, I really have no problems with that movie, aside from Sofia Coppola. Yeah.
But she's in like half the movie, though. That's the problem.
I know, but I'm willing to kind of white noise whenever she shows up on camera or starts talking. I'm willing to just go, shh. Oh, Andy Garcia's talking now? Great. Switch back on. Movies that I just don't get why people like these movies. I've never really gotten why Avatar got so much praise that it did. I thought, I'm like, it's fine at best for me, but I'm just like, very much so, this tale's been done before with real life people.
Have you ever watched that movie on acid?
No.
Yeah, then you'll understand why.
I never
Max
got...
is an undercover cop. Don't listen. Don't answer.
Don't respond. I never got the phenomena about like people who are like, I want to go live there. I want to create Pandora here on Earth. I'm like, you know how you do that? You plant a couple of trees. That's how you create Pandora on Earth, okay?
No, I think they should play D&D or something because that's where you can do that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So I never
That's
really got...
that's legitimate.
That's lame D&D.
I've
though.
always felt that inside I was a 12-foot cat person.
Huh.
I've never gotten that, so
I
I've
gotta
never
go.
Avatar. I've never understood the appeal of the Pitch Perfect movies. There we go. Because I was actually in a cappella groups in college, and let me tell you, that shit is not happening in college. It's happening now because of those movies, but we never spoke about like Aka for serious or made like secret vows or treated it like a fraternity. It's like, no, we got together and sang some tunes.
Did you ever stomp the yard?
No.
Oh my god, I figured that.
God damn no.
All right,
Did you ever play on the drum line?
a terrible movie that I enjoy. Biker Boys.
Oh, geez, with a Z.
Oh yeah, the cheap motorcycle Fast and the Furious knockoff. I love that movie.
There we go. We got one from Max.
What?
Pork. You guys remember that movie?
Torque. No, that was a cheap Biker Boys knockoff, and I couldn't have any of that.
It's like a knockoff of a knockoff.
Yeah, it's too diluted.
We got a couple comments. Andy writes, anyway, great bad movie, Drive Angry in 3D. And
Drive Angry was good. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a great movie, man.
I mean, that movie's meant for the 3D experience. When people say, like, I don't like 3D, I'm like, yeah, but there's some movies that are just fun in 3D. That's definitely one of them.
And then he also writes he doesn't understand why people like Tim Burton movies. I am there with you, buddy. I like two or three. I like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I like Beetlejuice, and I like Batman Returns. I can't think of another one that I like.
That's weird. I think that you like Batman Returns over Batman.
I don't know why. I do like
actually.
it better than the first one.
What about movies that you don't like because of the people that like said movies? I always have to do with, like, okay, so Monty Python movies, they're hilarious. They're great. but people that are like super fans make me hate those movies. Like it makes me cringe when I listen to people gush about Monty Python movies, and they just quote it for like a year, and you're like, got it, good one, remember that one. It's just like, oh my god, and now I kind of hate those movies.
But like every super fan is the same way. I mean, for whatever it is.
Yeah, but it's kind of like when you're in school, you got like the goth kids, you got the sports athletes, and then you got the theater kids. Those theater kids are pretty different, man. Like, it's not comparable. Like, I'd rather have some like ox gush about Friday Night Lights than hear someone rant about Monty Python for 4 hours.
I don't know. I pretty much see that the same way, but I don't know.
I don't. It's the type. Maybe it's just the type of movie.
We are the knights who say me.
Case in point.
We require a shrubbery.
We are now the knights to say icky patang, sweep dog.
I know what Jason's
now
talking
I see why you're arguing with me. You are one.
Yeah, you're proving the point, guys.
I've only done that for like 5 seconds, sir.
I feel the same way about Wes Anderson movies. I like Wes Anderson movies, but I do not like talking to people that like Wes Anderson movies.
That movie is so deep, let me tell you why.
They will overanalyze it to nausea, and it's like, I just enjoyed the movie. It was fun, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I watch weird people in weird angles doing weird things? Like, isn't that the whole point?
I got that way with Kevin Smith movies too. I just couldn't handle the Kevin Smith fans, so I just started like shunning Kevin Smith movies. I just couldn't do it. But if I watch the stuff by myself and nobody's like talking about it, they're not bad, but they're just like it's just, I don't know. I think a comparable thing is like movies like Austin Powers or Napoleon Dynamite. They're really, really great, and then people run it into the damn ground, and then you hate it, and then 10 years later you're like, oh, this is sweet again, when everyone shuts up about it.
Yeah. You just reminded me of another one, Napoleon Dynamite. I don't like that movie at all. Like, I am the only person who does not like that movie.
I've never had another movie experience where I was just wondering what the fuck the entire time. I love Napoleon Dynamite just because of how bafflingly simple it is. Like,
Such a good movie.
Is this the whole movie? Like, what the fuck?
I might need to revisit it now that I've changed a lot, but when I first watched it.
Watch it by yourself.
I definitely agree with Jason saying that like it is depending on the movie, and it's depending on the fan base of that movie if it's going to be one of those experiences where you're like, you can walk away from the film being like, well, fine, you know, it's not spectacular, but it's not terrible, but then everyone else takes it way out of proportion and makes it kind of a nuisance to hear about.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of my thing about Avatar. I didn't walk out of Avatar being like, you know, I hated this movie. I was kind of like, okay, this story's been told before, but it looked pretty. And then immediately after came the whole, this thing's amazing nonsense, and we can't wait for the one that is going to be filmed completely underwater in 2029 or whenever he's going to release the next one that he keeps talking about. So at that point I was like, I'm done with this.
I just appreciate stuff like Avatar because I like it when really weird movies make a ton of money. It's kind of confusing. It's like, you know, something like starring Sandra Bullock will make like $1 billion, and then like all the movies we love don't make that much, and they get tanked, and sequels don't get to happen. But then like Avatar comes out, it's like batshit crazy and weird, and it's just completely like creative, and then it does really well. You're like, what? I don't understand. I don't get it.
Perfect example of that a couple years ago when it was the weekend of Pacific Rim, and it was going up against Grown Ups 2. It should have been a surefire win for Pacific Rim, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Because Grown Up 2's was out, and everybody wanted to watch that filth.
Well, I also think that with Avatar, with any James Cameron movie, like, that's bringing people out just because it says James Cameron on it. And then also that guy like advances the industry whenever he makes a movie. There's technical things that happen in the movie that are just absolutely absurd, and it always shows through. So you're always interested in how he did it, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it may be more the, you know, or as I said, more the technical aspect than the actual story and shit, but that might be a contributing factor to its success. Like, you don't have to.
Well, yeah, plus James Cameron. It's hard to get burnt out from a guy that barely makes any movies. Like, he doesn't really make a ton of movies. He's made, like, 12 movies or something. So it's like when he comes around, I think there's some kind of like pedestal going on. It's like, oh, when he makes a movie, he makes a movie. Like, you gotta see it, you know? It's like, because he has such big gaps. Any other studio, there would have been 5 Avatars by now.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate that aspect of it. He's at least taking his time with it and like immersing himself in it. So the passion's there, you can't deny. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Rondell, I have not forgotten about you, but I want to touch on something real quick. Fans. Okay, so we're talking about fans a few times. There's something about fans that pisses me off. People, sorry, like, you know, the Avengers comes out and it's a great movie. So then the next superhero movie comes out. If it's not better than the Avengers, then it sucks. Or if, you know, a movie comes out like, trying to think of an example, Captain America: Winter Soldier. Oh my God, that was awesome. I don't like the Avengers anymore. That movie sucks. It's like, come on. We're forgetting, you know, the past and the comic book movies that we used to have. It drives me crazy that people will just say they hate something all of a sudden just because something better has come along or on par. It really, really, really pisses me off. Sorry, I was listening to a podcast and somebody mentioned that they didn't like the Avengers movie anymore.
I'll take the original Blade over Iron Man 2 any day.
Boom.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, but
there's no Iron Man 2 huge enthusiasts out there.
No, I'm sure there are.
Oh God, I want to meet the Iron Man 2 sympathist.
But it's like Dark Knight is a good example because I've heard this too recently. People are seeing the new Batman v Superman trailers, and now they're trashing on the Dark Knight and the Nolan movies. It's like, come on, guys, the Batman v Superman hasn't come out yet. Like, there's no reason to hate on the movie, and there's no reason to put it on a pedestal. Like, wait until it comes out and go see it. You don't need to start bashing something else that was good. We had whether, you know, however you feel about the third Nolan movie, the trilogy was good as a whole, and we just got to calm down and stop hating on all this stuff that we're getting because it's good. We live in a good world right now, a very good world. We could go back to the Corman Fantastic Four or the 1980 Captain America movie. That's what you guys want, but trust me, let's be happy with what we have.
They're going to call you a communist.
What's that, Mike?
They're going to call you communist, man.
Whatever. I don't fucking care.
It's a weird mentality. It's like it's the same thing with the box office numbers mentality. Because like Avengers made so much money, and then Avengers 2 comes out and it makes a little less money, just a little, and they're like, "Oh, it's a failure! It tanked! It flopped! It's the biggest piece of crap ever!" And it's just like, dude, like the thing still made $80 billion. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it didn't make $82 billion like you thought it was going to. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, like, and nerds have the same. I mean, we're hot-blooded.
It's like if
we feel deeply about things.
Back to Batman v Superman. I mean, I hate to keep bringing it up, but it is, current. If that movie comes out and it makes $10 million less than Avengers, even if it's good, people are gonna compare. Like, we don't need to be Marvel versus DC. We need to be. Yay, we get Marvel and DC movies right now. That's
if Batman vs. Superman comes out and doesn't make more money than Avengers, it's a failure.
All right, Rondell, you're
Sox Yankees. It's fucking East Coast, West Coast. Just argue and fight against each other for the hell of it.
Xbox, PS4.
Yeah.
All right, Rondell.
I don't have any movies, man. I'm trying to think, and the only thing that keeps running through my head is my absolute distaste for Sleepless in Seattle. I had to watch that in college for an English class and fell asleep, and I still haven't seen that movie all the way through. I hate it. But I really don't know how anybody else feels about it. So
it's a pretty popular movie, so I take it you don't like You've Got Mail either?
Actually, I like that. I actually saw you. See, it's pretty much the same thing. I realized that's why I'm like, why can't I watch Sleepless in Seattle? Like, it's the same damn movie.
You just
I've seen You've Got Mail 3 times in the theater. That's the only movie. I've only gone to see a movie that many times. I think. See, You've Got Mail and Disorderlies.
Nice.
Rondell, I am learning more and more about you all the time, man.
Well, it's good when he says more than 7 words.
We've been on this podcast with Rondell. How long have you been a part of this? 8 months, about?
Yeah.
and we can't get him to say 4 words about anything. And frickin' Sleepless in Seattle, You've Got Mail. He's
man.
Don't forget the Southerlies.
Don't get Rondell talking about Sleepless in Seattle now. It's a hot button topic right there. He's got 10 words for that movie.
Hot movies. I think I got Crush Groove on DVR. Time to introduce the kids to it.
I'm all about Crush Groove.
But yeah, I think that's all we got for tonight, right? Anybody have anything else to add?
I think we're good.
I do have one thing to add. Today's podcast was brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/3geeks. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. You should definitely check it out. Steven Weber reads the book It. It's very riveting. I have it on my phone. It is 48 hours long. It takes quite a few days to get through.
I wonder if they have like James Earl Jones reading any of the Star Wars books.
No, they have James Earl Jones reads the Bible.
I don't want to read the Bible.
It's Darth Vader reading the Bible. It's pretty funny.
I want Darth Vader, talking to me about Star Wars stuff, not like, and then this guy begat that guy.
You don't want him to go, Jesus, I am your father. All right, anyway, now we've offended. What?
Or at least at the very end, he's like, in the beginning there was light, and then the circle of life began.
All that the light touches.
I want to thank our special guest, Jason, for joining us. You can check out Jason's work at www.neverendingradicaldude.com. The link is in the description of this video. Follow him at NerdPoop on Twitter. And Jason, there is an open door. Anytime you want to come on, you're more than welcome.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. No, thanks for inviting me. It's awesome. I love what you guys do. I catch your videos when I can. It's good stuff.
Jason, you win Twitter handle. That's the best.
So what?
You win Twitter handle. That's the best.
It was a moment of frustration. I was like, what about this? What about this? What about this?
Yeah.
All right, what about this? And then it stuck, so I'm like, screw it.
Gotta roll with it. Now I'm nerd poop.
That's what it is.
In 2 weeks, we're going to have Sean Forney on to discuss art at Ohio Comic-Con, a lot of fun stuff. Sean's a big friend of the show. And Mike, we haven't forgotten about you. You can check out Mike at youtube.com/MikeMcGTV. Mike's videos are in our Twitter rotation, so you can find the links there. You can find the link to Mike's channel in the description below. And definitely check out everything Mike's got going on. Him and Max finished Daredevil last week, and they've got all 13 episode commentaries, and hopefully they'll be starting season 2 very, very, very soon. I think they should do it all in a day.
Someone's demanding it, so yeah.
It's actually me.
Yeah, okay.
And you can follow us at 3 Geeks Podcast on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, same thing. Check us out on iTunes. If you're watching us live, which I know some of you are, click that like button down below. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought of the show. Let us know that you disagreed. Call us communists. We did mention Trump a few times, so I'm sure you've got some hate there. And thank you so much for tuning in. And this weekend, go check out Hancock. But, one more thing. Dan, Max, Phillip, and I will be at Easton Town Center seeing the 6 p.m. showing of Batman v Superman. If you're local, stop in, say hi.
Is that still Hancock?
No, it's 2012.
That was 2012.
Oh,
Don't go see 2012, apparently.
It's the worst